Hi, everybody. My name is Ashley. I write paranormal suspense, and I want to welcome you here to my AuthorTube channel. So, I just want to say thank you to anybody in the community that wants to watch my videos or follow me. Like, your support means so much. And I've been thinking of ideas for this channel and decided that I think it's a good idea to start off by just telling you how I got to where I am now. And that is key into everything I've learned and everything that is going to go into this channel as a whole. So I feel like it's pretty important. I currently have 3 books out right now. And the first one is my baby. It is my world. It is my everything. And that is Blackwood Manor. I don't know if you can see that. So this story is so incredibly special on so many levels. This was inspired many moons ago when I was a young girl who lived in a very old house. And unexplained things would happen all the time. My best friend lived right down the street, and her house was just as active as mine. This area of town was very old. All of the buildings were old. All of the houses were ancient. And all kinds of creepy stuff was happening on like a daily basis, and we just really got used to it. And I remember that the two of us would sit around and joke sometimes and be like, oh, one day this is going to make a great movie or this is going to make a great book. And it never left my mind. As I got older and I moved out of that house and I moved on to other things, my experiences there always stood out. And I just started formulating this story idea from way before I ever even thought about actually becoming an author. I just kept thinking about this incredible story idea and this incredible world. And I was slightly discouraged from becoming an author when I was in high school because I was told that I wouldn't be able to make a successful career out of it and that I needed to find something more sustainable. And I listened to that. Even though writing was my passion, it was what I enjoyed more than anything else in the world. And I put all my writing on the back burner. I went years without writing a single word. But this story still, it always stuck out to me. I kept coming back to it. And then the inciting incident happened. Back in 2015, I believe it's been 10 years now. In 2015, I went through a severe health crisis. I got very sick, and it took a long time to actually find out what was wrong with me. I was constantly in and out of the hospital, and I couldn't work. So I started turning to books again, reading books, writing books, and I would be sitting in the middle of the night in excruciating pain, not able to sleep. And this story just kept clicking. And I told myself, okay, it is time for you to write this down and see if the characters shut up and go away. Because the characters, they were very talkative. And so that's exactly what I did. I wrote it down. Like, I probably pumped out that first draft in 6 weeks. It didn't take very long at all. But I kept working on it. Every time I got sick, I worked on it a little bit more. Every time I was stressed out, I worked on it a little bit more. And I just poured my heart and my soul into this book. And this is what really kept me moving. This is what kept me motivated. This is what kept me going every single day. And I firmly believe this is why I'm still here now. Because this gave me something else to focus on. And all in all, it took me about 4 years to complete. I was extremely proud of it. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to take the plunge and I'm going to self-publish because I spent a lot of time on this and I want to share it with the world. And I was very happy with the response that I got when I put this out. I got so many nice messages from people saying that they enjoyed it and that they found it spooky and they wanted more in the world. And so I decided to give my readers what they wanted. And the Haven Stone was born. The Haven Stone is part 2 of a duology. And it picks up exactly where Blackwood Manor left off. It takes place 10 years after after the ending of Blackwood Manor. And this one gave me a chance to really expand. I had already kind of set the tone and the world based on what I knew from the houses already and based on my past experiences, but I just built on it and gave more character backstories, and I just started finding so much that I could do with this plantation home and with these characters, and I just had so much fun with it, and I just couldn't stop. I had to keep going. And now I actually have a spin-off series that is going to be coming out in May. The first book of that will be coming out in May, and that's going to expand even further on this world. But I'm doing it kind of twisting it a different direction and coming at it from a different angle, and I had so much fun writing it. I've gotten so much supportive feedback from my beta readers. I can't wait to share that with the world, and I hope that everybody really enjoys it because it means a lot to me. And then there's my third book, Disappearance on Route 6. And this actually has an interesting backstory, too. This was the first full-length novel that I actually ever wrote. And it was, I want to say, what was it? 2013 or 2014. I wrote this, and it's not what the final version is at all. It ended up, I ended up cutting a lot of stuff. I changed a lot of characters' names. I changed some timelines. But this follows a woman named Stacy, who is an investigative reporter in a small town, and she has been itching for the story of her life. And she finally gets it one day when a car is pulled out of the lake in their small community and is tied to a cold case that she is assigned to cover. And she really goes all in on it, exploring it from every angle, won't let anything drop, and ends up uncovering some secrets that may have been better left uncovered. It's very dark and twisty, and it's short, but I enjoyed every second of writing this. But it was one of those things where I enjoyed my experience writing it and I enjoyed the story, but I was able to acknowledge back then that it wasn't ready. It was just for me, and I wasn't planning on doing anything with it. I did send it to a couple of my closest friends, and I'm like, hey, what do you think of this? Because up until that point, I had just written short stories here and there, mostly in high school, and a few novellas. So this was my first full length, and it's like they told me that it was really good, but it was lacking something that they weren't sure what it was. And that's kind of where I was too. But after going down the rabbit hole with the Blackwood Manor duology and I learned so much with those 2 books. I figured out what I was lacking with Disappearance on Route 6. And I decided I wanted to rework it because I still really enjoy the story. And I did do a deep dive on that. I rewrote it. I want to say I did the rewrite in a month. It was something crazy. It was very, very fast compared to my other 2. But I felt like it was worth it. I enjoyed the whole experience, and it's not part of the Blackwood Manor series, but it does take place in the same universe, and it's tied in a little bit. I have a little bit of a cool Easter egg in there, so if you like the duology, you might get a kick out of that because you'll catch it. But if you're not really into the ghost books, you can read this one, and you're not really missing out on anything. So, Blackwood Manor follows a woman who has escaped an abusive relationship and moves across the country to be near her best friend from childhood because that was where she felt like she had the most support, and that's what she needs at this time in her life. And while she's there, she falls head over heels in love with this abandoned plantation home called Blackwood Manor. And she decides that she wants to buy it. And everybody around her is telling her that they don't want her to buy this house because it is extremely haunted. But all that really does is fuel her to restore it and get it respect back because she's skeptical and she doesn't believe in all of that, but she wants to return the home to its former glory. It doesn't take long to realize that things there are not quite what they seem. I loved this book so much, I can't even tell you. So, for upcoming projects, like I said earlier, I have that book one of the spinoff series is coming out in May. I'm very excited for that. That is going to be a dual POV between two of our characters from the duology. But I'm not going to reveal too much about that right now. You need to read those books. But I'm very excited for it, and I'll be sharing the cover reveal for that very, very soon. I also have a little bit of a fun little nugget to share. I am going to be breaking out of my comfort zone very soon with a fairy tale retelling. I've never done anything like this before in my life. I've always done suspense. But I love fairy tale retellings, and it's very interesting because I don't normally go for fairy tales, especially like the cutesy Disney versions. If you know, you know. But I do often find myself drawn to the source material that those stories were based on. And I do find myself enjoying retellings quite often. I love the way that so many different things can happen with those worlds. And I'd been thinking about like a way that I could do it myself for a really long time. But I kept telling myself, you're a suspense writer. You can't do that. And you know what? I've decided to throw caution to the wind and just do it because the characters are talking to me, and the world has gotten very, very large in my mind. So that is going to be coming in the fall. Book one is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I'm very excited for that. That was probably, I want to say that was my second favorite. That was probably one of only three Disney films that I could actually watch for more than a couple of years before I got tired of them as a kid. I just, that was one of the ones that I didn't get tired of. I did find some things about it problematic as I grew older, um, but that's the one that always stuck out in my mind. So that was the first one that I had to start with my series. I'm excited for it. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so glad to share my backstory with you. I really hope that you will support me on the rest of my journey and like, subscribe, comment. I would love to see you. And if you have videos about your writing journey, then link them down below because I'd like to figure out how everybody else is doing and where you came from. Until later, I will talk to you all. Bye.